Welcome back to Movies Outpost. Today we'll be diving into a mystery thriller film titled Non-Stop. Enjoy the recap. In the opening scenes, we meet Bill Marks, a disheartened air marshal, still healing from his daughter Olivia's passing due to cancer. Bill's grief leads him to find solace at the bottom of a bottle, even during work hours. As he takes a smoke break, a stranger named Tom strikes up a conversation, asking for a light in his destination. Bill brushes him off, but Tom casually reveals he's headed to Amsterdam. As all this unfolds, we can see Bill's vigilant gaze, always on the lookout for any potential threats on his flight. Moving on, we follow Bill to the airport restroom, where he bumps into his fellow marshal, Jack Hammond. Meanwhile, he also encounters Becca, a young girl traveling solo who's misplaced her doll. As she's led onto the plane by Nancy, a friendly flight attendant, Bill appears with her missing doll, causing Becca's hesitation to dissolve instantly. Once aboard, we meet Zach, originally seated next to Bill, but he soon finds himself swapping seats with Jen, who's got her eyes set on the window view. Nancy is pleasantly surprised to find Gwen, her co-attendant, aboard, offering some relief from her responsibilities. In the cockpit, we see the pilots, Captain David and Kyle Rice, conducting their routine checks. Just as the flight stabilizes, Bill's phone buzzes with messages from his higher-ups, to which he confirms that everything is smooth sailing. As an air marshal, Bill blends in with regular passengers, careful not to give away his identity and cause panic. In a bid to blend in, Bill plays up a phobia of flying, tying a ribbon his late daughter gifted him around his hand. As the plane launches into a turbulent ascent and then smooths out, Jen inquires about his daughter. Bill spins a tale, claiming she's 17. But when the tables turn and he asks about her job, Jen artfully dodges, saying she needs to catch some shut-eye. The aircraft now sails through a sea of fluffy clouds, and Bill escapes to the restroom for a sneaky smoke. When he settles back into his seat, an anonymous text jolts him. The sender identifies as a fellow passenger, even commenting on his secret smoke break. Bill scans the faces around him, hunting for anything amiss, but comes up empty-handed. Undeterred, he stands for a broader look, catching Jen's curious gaze in the process. Despite advancing to the next cabin, he finds no trace of suspicion. Suddenly, the mystery texter ups the ante, demanding Bill to set a 20-minute timer, at the end of which, they threaten, a passenger will die. Though Bill scrutinizes the crowd once more, the sender remains elusive. The stranger then lays out an audacious demand, $150 million transferred to a specific account. Spotting Jack, Bill motions for a meeting, and amid this, Riley appears intensely focused as he observes Jack tailing Bill. Bill confronts Jack, accusing him of being the tormentor, but Jack dismisses the allegations, even offering his phone as proof. Bill spills the beans about the chilling threat, but Jack remains skeptical, unable to fathom how anyone could murder a person on a plane and escape unscathed. With the puzzle unsolved, Bill instructs Jack to keep an eye on the main cabin while he alerts the pilots to the looming threat. Informed they're smack dab in the Atlantic's middle, an emergency landing gets ruled out. Bill prompts the captain to trace the account number and disable the in-flight network, foiling the hijacker's ability to confirm the transaction. Recognizing the plane's CCTV as a potential lead, he ropes in Nancy, and eventually Jen, to scan the myriad of camera feeds. Armored with pens, their task is to identify anyone on their phone while Bill baits the hijacker into another text exchange. As the texts ricochet between Bill and the unknown antagonist, Nancy and Jen cross off numerous passengers engrossed in their phones. Amid the unfolding chaos, Bill gets a call from Marinick, a TSA colleague on the ground. Concurrently, Jen points out Jack's non-stop phone usage, but Bill dismisses it, insisting Jack isn't their guy. Marinick, overhearing this, advises against jumping to conclusions. However, when the hijacker brings up Bill's daughter, doubt shadows Jack's innocence once again. Jack's sudden move from his seat prompts Bill to tail him into the restroom. Confronted, Jack admits to needing the money, inciting a brawl. In the commotion, Jack manages to drench his phone, attempting to wash away any damning evidence. Jack's sudden lunge for a firearm leaves Bill no choice but to act fatally. With Jack down, he confiscates the phone and locks the restroom door behind him. As he processes the turn of events, another text lands, this time the hijacker applauding him for the first kill. Bill is then instructed to reset his timer, as another passenger's life hangs in the balance, contingent on the money transfer. Barging into the cockpit, Bill is met with a shocking revelation. The captain informs him that the account number provided by the hijacker, in a cruel twist, belongs to Bill himself. Unnoticed, Jen eavesdrops on their conversation. Inquiring if anything transpired within the 20 minutes, the captain gets no confession from Bill about Jack's death. The TSA has mandated the seizure of Bill's badge and gun, leaving the captain no alternative but to comply. Jen and Bill manage to salvage Jack's waterlogged phone, where they discover the hijacker's ploy to frame Jack. Also, they find a mention of a briefcase Jack had in his possession. Bill retrieves the case, unlocking it with a key found on Jack. Inside, it's packed with cocaine, making sense of Jack's desperate plea for money. He had assumed Bill discovered his contraband. A call from Nancy for Jack forces Bill's hand, compelling him to reveal Jack's death. The news shakes Nancy, but Bill's reassurances manage to calm her down. Using Jack's badge, Bill initiates a random search of chosen passengers, aiming to flush out the elusive hijacker as the clock continues to race. He scrutinizes several passengers, including Jen, whom he tasks with being an extra set of eyes. He diligently inspects Fahim, a medical doctor, Charles, a lawyer, and finally Riley, who claims to be a cop. Soon, a new text lands from the hijacker, accusing Bill of stalling. It's then that he spots Tom, the man he'd encountered during his pre-flight smoke. Remembering Tom's claim of heading to Amsterdam, Bill yanks him into the aisle. The call from Marinick offers a glimmer of reprieve, confirming Tom's identity as a schoolteacher. Skeptical, Bill grills Tom further, leading to Tom's admission of being paid to learn Bill's destination. Frantic, Bill hauls him through the plane, demanding he identify his paymaster. Tom points out a bespectacled man, but a tense confrontation reveals it's a case of mistaken identity. Still, Bill takes no chances, binding Tom. Checking his watch, Bill's heart pounds as he sees just 49 seconds remain before another life could be claimed. Hand clenched around his gun, he remains vigilant. A chilling text shatters the silence. The next death doesn't have to be a passenger's. In an urgent stride towards Nancy, Bill stumbles as the plane is caught in a bout of turbulence. Once the chaos subsides, he locates Nancy and they rush to the cockpit, only to find the captain convulsing while Kyle tries to support him. Bill brings Dr. Fahim to the scene, who can only suggest possible poisoning. Setting his watch anew, Bill instructs Kyle to keep the cockpit door sealed until landing. Shortly, Jen introduces Zach, a programmer, to Bill. Zach offers a potential solution. A virus attached to a picture sent to the hijacker's phone could force it off silent mode and reveal its location. With the clock against them, Bill hands over his phone to Zach. As Zach works, Bill announces the closure of the business cabin, corralling everyone into one place. The passengers protest, but Bill soothes their frustration with a promise of comp travel. Once Zach is done, Bill retrieves his phone. With the trap set, Bill instructs all passengers to raise their hands while he sends the picture. Gun at the ready, he listens for the telltale ring, which leads him to Charles. Despite Charles's denial, Bill accosts him, but the interrogation yields no clues. Suddenly, Charles begins convulsing, echoing the captain's fate, and dies. Back in the cabin, a revolt brews as Riley rallies a group to counteract Bill, spurred on by the alarming news of the captain and Charles's deaths. Meanwhile, Bill, seeking a moment of respite, retreats to the restroom for a smoke. This time, however, he discovers a concealed hole leading straight to the cockpit. Investigating the sink in the restroom, Bill discovers a tiny pipe, a perfect tool for delivering poison with a simple blow. Further inspection of Charles' body reveals a pin that could have administered the lethal dose. Pursuing this new lead, Bill questions a woman who had previously used the restroom. She mentions that Jen had been the next to enter. Suspicions aroused, Bill confronts Jen about her suspiciously close proximity to him and her insistence on the window seat. In response, Jen reveals her terminal heart condition, explaining that she simply wanted to enjoy the view. Moved, Bill offers her an apology. However, the tension rises when, in an attempt to crack the hijacker's phone, Jen triggers a bomb. Simultaneously, news breaks on televisions worldwide, falsely naming Bill as the hijacker. Swiftly piecing together the puzzle, Bill realizes that the bomb could only have been smuggled aboard by Jack, whose air marshal status exempted him from searches. He locates the bomb stashed under the cocaine in Jack's briefcase. But as he leaves, he's ambushed by Riley's group, who attempt to strangle him. He manages to gasp out the truth about the bomb, catching their attention. Just then, Tom steps in, wielding Bill's gun to fend off the mob and free Bill. Bill lays out the full situation, and a remorseful Tom returns his weapon. Afterwards, 2 fighter jets appear in the sky to escort the troubled plane. The fighter jets order co-pilot Kyle to keep to their course until landing. Bill, however, presents a different plan in the cockpit, urging Kyle to lower the altitude to 8,000 feet in order to mitigate the potential impact of the bomb if it detonates. Kyle requests more time to reach closer to Iceland for an emergency landing, as they are still above the vast, uninhabited expanse of the Atlantic. Meanwhile, Bill places the pressure-sensitive bomb at the rear door and instructs passengers to heap heavy luggage around it, a measure to contain the potential explosion. Returning to the cockpit, Bill directs Kyle to start the descent precisely 3 minutes later to prevent complications. Meanwhile, a terrified Becca hides. Gwen struggles to coax her out, but it's Bill's offering of his ribbon that finally convinces Becca to leave her hiding spot and join Jen. Marinick calls Bill, confirming that the ransom payment has been transferred, and Bill puts the call on speaker for the hijacker to hear. However, Marinick still suspects Bill as the instigator of the hijacking. He reveals a video circulating online showing Bill dragging Tom around the plane, footage uploaded by a passenger. Spotting the person who posted the video, Bill seizes his phone, making Tom noticeably anxious. Upon watching the video, Bill notices a key detail: Tom slipping the phone into Charles' pocket earlier on the flight. In a swift turn of events, Tom grabs Riley's gun and holds him hostage, attempting to fire, but fortunately, the gun is not loaded. In the ensuing chaos, Riley manages to disarm Tom and claims the gun for himself. Bill directs him to his seat to find the ammunition. However, it's Zach who has already secured it, sparking a fight between the two. Zach emerges victorious, loading the gun and shooting Riley. The gunshot distracts Bill long enough for Tom to wrestle Bill's gun away and take him hostage. Meanwhile, in the cockpit, co-pilot Kyle requests permission to descend but is denied by the escorting jet fighters. Despite the circumstances, Tom and Zach seize control of the plane. Tom embarks on a bleak monologue about the illusion of safety and security in the world. They plan to parachute out once the plane is low enough, but Bill interjects, revealing that Kyle has been denied landing permission. Bill tries to persuade Zach to disarm the bomb in a bid to save himself. However, Tom, seemingly unfazed with going down with the plane, tells Zach it was never part of the plan to escape the plane. Zach's stunned look makes Tom paranoid he may be convinced by Bill's words. He proceeds to shoot Zach. Unperturbed by the jet fighter's orders, Kyle, left with no choice, nosedives the plane to start the descent. As the plane levels out at 8,000 feet, Bill seizes his chance and takes down Tom. Although injured, Zach manages to lunge at Bill. But noticing the countdown clock on the bomb has hit 0, Bill dodges the attack, leaving Zach to be caught in the blast. The bomb detonates, causing damage to one of the plane's engines. In the distance, the lights of a runway come into view. Kyle, grappling with the controls, manages to dump the excess fuel and executes a rough emergency landing. During the crash landing, Becca almost falls out of the plane, but Bill and Jen manage to secure her in time. At long last, the plane skids to a stop, all remaining passengers safe. Becca returns Bill's ribbon, no longer needing the symbol of security it represented. Marenick calls Bill and tells him he was wrong about him and that he has his full support. Bill then finds Jen and makes sure she's all right before thanking her for standing by him through the drama. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.